If the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step, our next guest is well on her way to reaching that goal. 58-year-old Gale Connor is an ultra trail runner, which means she enjoys running really long distances, such as 50 or 100-kilometer races. What's even more impressive is Gale did not start running until her mid-40s when she was in the midst of cancer treatment. Welcome to the program, Gale.
Thank you.
So what did spark your interest in running, especially when you're going through some radiation treatment?
Well, I started running I wasn't even sure why. I was doing a walk, and there was a guy at the race, and he started talking. Well, it was a walking race, and he said, "You should try running," and it had never really occurred to me, so I decided to try it.
What attracted you to the ultra racing? I mean, that seems so long.
You know, it's very funny because I'm actually a recovering alcoholic, and there's a lot of recovering addicts that are in this sort of thing. It really appeals to the addicted type of personalities. It's something about doing something that's impossible, I guess.
So what is the longest event you've participated in so far?
I've done 200 Ks, which are 62 miles, and it hurt a lot.
Well, set the scene for us. When we say trail running, what would a typical race be like? What are some things that you would experience?
Well, you have a lot of what I call trip hazards. You've got rocks and roots. You have stream crossings. Down at Mohican, there's a thing called the route climb, which is you go through this, they call it the Enchanted Valley, which is basically climbing over boulders and down trees and such. And to get out, you have to climb about a 2-story tangle of roots to get out of there. You have things like that. Some races, I did one where you actually will have to use a rope to climb the hill because it's so steep. There's some races where you have stream crossings. About the deepest I've ever done is about thigh deep, but some people go through rivers that are so raging that they have to have ropes to get across. Now, I haven't done that.
But that's on the list?
Oh, it could be.
What's the weather like? When you're doing 50 kilometers or 100 kilometers, you're probably out there for a while.
Oh, yeah. There's all sorts of, I've been through everything. Snow, sleet, rain. One time I did a race where it rained for 9 straight hours. So, of course, you can imagine what the trails were like. I did a race one time where I went into hypothermia overnight. That was one of my 100K attempts. Yeah, you're out there at night, early pre-dawn, so you have a lot of interesting obstacles to overcome.
What keeps you going? Because I would think if you're in the rain for 9 hours, many people might say, it's time to turn it in.
Really, you know, it's difficult because you have to be very strong mentally. If you check out mentally, you're done. Because the body can usually keep going even if it's very painful. So even if you're in a lot of pain, you can usually keep going. But as soon as you don't want to do it anymore, it's real hard to keep your head back in the game, you know. And a lot of times that's why you'll have crew or pacers or family members or, you know, people at the aid stations. The people at the aid stations are usually experienced ultra runners, and they know what you're going through. So when you're starting to check out and they see that, they try to get you back on your feet and back on the trail, or you may not go back out.
How did you have to change your diet? I mean, it seems like you'd be burning quite a few calories.
I'll tell you what, when we do these things, the things we eat it's kind of scary. You know, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, obviously, that's like an easy one. But I mean, we eat payday candy bars and, you know, cookies and salty snacks because you have to keep your electrolytes and salt intake up because you sweat a lot, and you eat, I hate to say it, a lot of junk food.
But you're burning it off,
Yeah.
I would assume.
I mean, some people say the reason they like to run, especially the long distances, so they can eat whatever they want. Yes.
How has this changed you as a person?
Well, that's a good question. It's made me very humble. I'm very humbled by the people that I meet. Some of the people that do this are some of the coolest people you ever want to meet. And in fact, the other day somebody was saying something about running, and I said, well, you know, trail runners are the hippies of the running community. We're the ones that that are more laid back, like road runners. Well, you know, they're like ready to go. They got the watches, they're ready, and we'll be like standing there. Oh, I guess we should go, and
Enjoying the moment.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I mean, we get to walk. You know, we have a lot of elevation change, have a lot of hills, mainly you walk the uphills, even the good people, because especially when you're doing a long distance, you have to keep your energy levels. You have to maintain your energy, and if you start running your hills, that's going to kind of tank you.
So there is some technique to this.
Oh yeah.
This is such a fascinating sport, and you're truly an inspiration to some of our viewers out there, because you didn't start to your 40s and now you're 58. If you can get out there and do that, most of us could get to the gym. How can people reach you, or how can they get more information on ultra running if this is something they might want to get into?
Well, there's a lot of Facebook groups. If you're really interested, you can look at some of the YouTube videos. There's lots of YouTube videos on the local races. But I'm on Facebook. I'm on all the other social medias, but I don't really mess with those. So Facebook is the big one.
So they can connect with you, Gail Connor with an O.
Yep.
Thank you so much for being with us. This was quite fascinating. We'll be right back. We'll be right back with more Mind, Body, and Spirit. You're welcome.